Welcome back to the We Are Rockwood podcast. We are in beautiful, historic downtown Rockwood, inside Wilk Production Studios. We're joined by Becky Ruppe, and this is one of the most influential people in my life. Her, my mother, Vera Scarborough, Annabelle Clement O'Brien. I've always been surrounded by strong women, had strong teachers, but Becky, thank you for joining us. But before we get to you, Leanne has got something she needs to say before I get sidetracked again.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Our hometown salute to service. I want to recognize Ralph Ronald Springs. He earned a Purple Heart in the Vietnam conflict. He served in the Army. He is on a banner along Gateway Avenue. So, as always, we are grateful to remember his service to our country and our community. This hometown salute is brought to you by Roan Land Surveying. Okay, let's get back to talking to Becky. Since we did the salute to service, let me just ask her about those banners first of all. If someone wants a banner or to purchase one,
so the banners belong to the people themselves that pay for them. They come to City Hall and give one of my clerks the information. They can put information on 3 lines, and they have to bring a picture that is a good picture. It can't be like a Polaroid or something back in the day. It needs to be an official picture or something taken with a good camera, because the bigger you make it, the more distorted it becomes.
okay.
So a good picture, they're $212. The price has went up since we started, but we left it the same. The city pays the rest, and the city pays for the shipping and all that, and we do our best to take care of them. Rockwood is a windy town, and they get blown down from time to time.
Oh.
Yeah.
And no matter how much we secure them, they get stretched. That material kind of stretches. We've even used pool noodles inside those rods to try to hold them.
Keep it secure.
Yeah. So we take care of them, but they belong to the people that pay for them.
Okay. Who installs? Does the street department or
Yes.
REU?
Street department.
I see those in other towns. So is it a project nationwide or just across the state of Tennessee or?
I think people do it in different towns all over the United States.
Okay.
It's not really a drive or anything. It's just something that kind of catches on. I guess we caught on to it from Kingston, and then Harriman kind of started doing it. Now we're all doing it. So
I really like it.
Yeah.
I agree.
it's a very nice project.
Becky,
Yes,
don't look nervous.
I'm not nervous.
I just want to
She's
say,
used to talking in front of people.
I want to thank you for coming on, and I have to express this. We can edit it out if you want me to. Morgan County's mistake was Rockwood's gain.
Yes.
So I look at it this way, Brian. I say, God bless the broken road that led me to Rockwood.
Amen.
So when I left, you make me emotional. When I left Morgan County, I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen to a person. And then when I got here, it's probably one of the best things that ever happened to me. There's never a day that I don't like to come to work at Rockwood.
We're blessed
I
to
get
have
tired.
you.
Yeah.
But never a day do I say, I don't want to go to work. 'cause
You know,
I do.
we're
It's a win for Rockwood, for
It is.
sure.
We're blessed to have you. You came when things were iffy at Rockwood. Let's just be honest, say it like it is.
When was it? What year was it?
2012.
Okay.
So I interviewed in October of 2011 for city administrator, and I did not get that job. So I didn't come to Rockwood looking for a job. I saw the city recorder job posted in the paper, but I didn't apply for it. I had somebody from Rockwood come to me. I was working for Morgan County Economic Development, and I had a person come to me and say, come to Rockwood, apply for this job and come to Rockwood. Well, I didn't get it. And then in February, I interviewed, well, that was for city administrator. And in February, I interviewed for city recorder and got 4 of the 6 votes. So at that time, the mayor didn't vote. We changed that later. But so I started in February, and then they let the city administrator that was here go in June, and I assumed that position as well. And then later on, I guess you could call me the grant administrator as well, because I was thinking today we've probably done, if you count the airport projects right now, we're probably over $10 million worth of grants since 2020.
And have you written all those grants?
I don't write them necessarily, but I help write them with the development district and different organizations. So we have to administer them here on the local level. So writing them sometimes is the easy part. You probably know that from the school. It's when you get them, it's when the work begins.
Yes.
And we've never had a bad audit. So
Oh, good. Congratulations then.
So we work very hard to make sure that it's taken care of.
So this is going to be just a question about city government. What is the difference between a city recorder and a city administrator? And we don't have 2 separate positions anymore. We have
We have Becky Ruppe.
we have you doing both jobs.
So-
but what are the differences in those jobs?
So I have to compare it to like Harriman and Kingston. So Harriman and Kingston are under a city manager charter. And so their city managers hire and fire employees. They work at the will of the mayor and council, and they personally hire and fire and do the interviewing and all that. In Rockwood, I'm a city administrator, and the hiring and firing goes through city council. So the mayor and council hire people. Everybody that's hired has to be voted on by the city council. And everybody that's fired, it doesn't necessarily that day go through the council, but it eventually does. But department heads are selected by the mayor, but voted on and approved by the council. So the mayor can't hire anybody that the council doesn't approve. So we are set up different to Harriman and Kingston. So Harriman and Kingston both have a city manager and a city recorder and somebody that does grants. Rockwood, I do those positions, yes. So
And that goes back to our city charter, or just
it's
how
just
we do it?
It's just the way we do it.
Okay.
So most little towns have a city recorder and then a city administrator. And a city recorder normally is a little lady that sits in the office and counts out and gets the packet together and stuff like that. But here it's way broader than that.
Okay.
So it's all good.
Let's talk about your background that led to people being confident that you should be here. It's very rare that headhunting happens in small towns where they zero in somebody and say, we want this person. You know that. You've been around government and politics. Can we talk a little about your background from your school board days to...
So I grew up in Oakdale, a little poor country girl that was barefooted in the summer. And
Becky Ruppe knows hard times.
Becky Jones. My dad was a Baptist preacher, crippled Baptist preacher, crippled from the war. He was a World War II veteran. And I never dreamed in a million years that I would ever be in any kind of government. And if I had to do it over again, I'm not sure that I would. But so I was raised in Oakdale, and my dad was, like I said, was a preacher, was a store owner. Our grocery store burned when I was 2 years old. And so I was raised poor on a farm and had 5 brothers and sisters. And my mother was killed in a car wreck when I was just turned 14 years old. And so my 3 older brothers and sisters had already left home and had families of their own. So me and my brother and sister were still home, and my dad was, like I said, wounded in the war. So I had to take on the mother role of my home at the age of 14. And so it was a tough time, and I didn't always walk the straight and narrow. But Vera and Paul Scarborough, Paul was my principal, Vera was my teacher, and they kind of, I would say, took me, and I was their other daughter.
Yes.
So I started spending the night with them when I was like in 3rd grade. So when my mom got killed, they just kind of guided me. And so I graduated, went to work at Red Cap sewing shirts. And then I I've been plagued by car wrecks, but my daughter was 4 and I was pregnant. My husband was killed in a car wreck. So I couldn't live on a red cap wage. Yeah. And at that time, Exxon Chemicals came into the industrial park here at Rockwood. And they, I guess, were under the impression they had to hire a couple of women with the men. So I hired in as a maintenance person, which was crazy. So I hired in there, and in the 3 years that they stayed here, I was promoted to supervisor. Well, I actually, at Red Cap, was the youngest person to ever be promoted to quality control and supervision in the history of Red Cap. Yeah. And then up here at Exxon, I went from from a maintenance worker to a supervisor to production and ordering out everything for the plant when they moved. And they tried to get me to go to South Carolina with the plant, and I chose to stay here. So then when all that happened, I dabbled in real estate. I did appraisals. I sold property in Cumberland County, worked for Century 21. Then I got in Wartburg and started working for the newspaper. I started the first litter prevention program in the schools in Morgan County. I worked for District Attorney Charlie Hawk in domestic violence. I was a victim witness coordinator for him right before he lost that election. Yep. And I was jail administrator at the Morgan County Jail for almost 2 years while we renovated the jail, moved all the inmates out and renovated the jail and brought them back. Then I went to work for the county executive, Tommy Kilby, in 2002 full-time. I actually was in and out of his office a lot over the time when I worked at the jail and all that. But so in 2003, he decided to run for Senate. So his job was going to be vacant. And I worked there, and the gentleman that was running was not going to keep me, because that's just the way it is. When you get a new one, they usually change people. So people encouraged me, said, run. Yes. Well, I got to back up, so I'm so sorry. I got ahead of myself. Powell and Vera Scarborough in 1998, I was out working, doing one of these jobs I just told you about. I think I was at the jail. Powell called me and said, Becky, I need you to run for school board. And it was like a week before the time to turn your paper in. And I said, I can't run for school board. And why would I run for school board? And so he knew the leverage Annabelle O'Brien, I guess, had over my life, because I'd helped her so much in different things. And she called me and she said, you need to run for school board.
And you can't tell Miss Annabelle no.
No, and she said, and she made me come to her house. And she said, you never make a vote that you can't lay down in the bed at night and go straight to sleep. Yeah. If it's going to bother you, then you don't vote for it. Yes. So I ran for school board unopposed. I was first female ever elected to school board in the Oakdale district. Good. So then I ran again unopposed the next election, so I was elected to school board twice. At my first meeting, they wanted me to vote on something that I wasn't familiar with. And Paul wanted me to vote for it too. And I said, I'm not familiar and I am not voting for it. And I didn't. And I stuck to that all through school board. And then when I got off school board in 2004, while I was still on there, in 2003, the election came up in 2004, everybody was saying run. And I was like, I can't run for countywide office. So I did. And I worked very hard. And the gentleman I ran against was like a 14-year veteran on the county commission, on the budget committee. And we're very, very good friends today, but at that time he wasn't very nice. But maybe I didn't see him as not being nice. Maybe he was just, I don't know. But anyway, it was a very bad election. It was tough. It was hard. And so that night, when the last precinct came in,
which was Oakdale, right?
Cofield, I was losing by 69 votes. And so I knew I had a lot of support in Cofield, but I really didn't know. And when the votes came in, I won by 121 votes. So I was the first person to ever be elected as a woman, and I was the first person to ever be elected that didn't live in Wartburg at the time of the election. So there's a lot of history there. Yes. A lot of firsts. And so I ran, that was 2004, that was just a 2-year term because he had already served. So I had to run again in 2 years. I won by 1,800 votes. the second time in 2006. And then, and I've seen it in Rockwood too, I don't sit idle, and I love change for the better. I love to make things happen.
Yeah.
And some people don't want things to happen.
Yes.
Right.
And so we were doing lots of things. That was the time when we bought the property at Plateau Partnership Park that is flat rock today.
Yes.
All these years later, it's just like a good feeling.
And all the heat.
Yes, it
you
was
took.
bad. And so there was other things at the time too. So I won by 1,800 votes. 2 years later, I lost by 4 years later, I lost by 200 votes. I mean, so, but then I went to work. We had a big economic development project at that time. The biggest jobs to ever come to Morgan County was Cobb Van Tress out in Deer Lodge, chicken farm,
Yes.
producing farm. And everybody was telling me, because that was a bad election. That
Yes.
was the worst election. And so, and part of that was because I ran for state senate in 2008 while I was county executive. And so,
I spent a lot of time with Becky in
We'll
2008.
get back to that in a minute. But and I don't want to spend this whole show talking about me, but
This show is about you. You're our guest.
but so they begged me, please stay and make sure this project goes through. So that's why I stayed. Economic Development hired me the day I left office. So I worked and stayed and got that project done. And that's when somebody came to me and said, there's this job open at Rockwood. You ought to apply for it. And this auditor was there that was auditing Rockwood at the time. Said, don't go to Rockwood.
Yeah.
You do not want to go to Rockwood. They're having some tough times. Don't go there. But I did. And so that's 14 years ago, and I'm still here today.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that you did that, of course, you know, we've talked before, you know, I think Annabelle Clement O'Brien hung the moon. I think Vera Scarborough's wonderful. Great cook.
Yeah.
Great cook. And her stories, wow. One of the things you did in Morgan County that people don't realize was you got drinking and clean water to people.
Well, that was my passion. That was the reason I ran for state senate, because I ran for state senate for multiple reasons. The peer pressure. If I had it all over again, I never would have done it.
She looked at me when she was
But-
pressure.
But I really honestly believed
Yes.
if I could get elected to the state senate, that I could do something to make sure that everybody has clean drinking water. And I got all kinds of drinking water stories I could tell for hours. One lady out on Mary Ford Road and out at Glades, she had raised 3 teenage boys
Yes.
collecting rainwater off her roof in garbage cans. Didn't have rainwater in her house, and she raised those boys, and their house was clean, and she did not have running water. And when we got, she called it city water.
Yes.
When we got city water to her house, she literally fell down on the ground and cried. Yeah. So I had a book about that thick. It was called Our Water Bible. And we had every name of every person in Morgan County that didn't have clean drinking water. Good, they had well water that was bad or whatever. And so, but they still complained, just like people do today. And Don Dyer came to my office one day. He said, people say you are not doing anything to get them drinking water. You know, he came on a mission. And when he left, he said, I have no work to do here.
Oh,
I mean, because I showed him the
so
book.
you didn't make the Don Dare show.
I didn't make the Don Dare
That's
show.
good.
Yeah.
There's one thing that you learn about Becky, and I mean, we used it in a campaign ad. We laugh about it, but it's true. Becky knows hard times, and she's never backed down from a challenge. You had a challenge to come to Rockwood, and you know, not only is she tough, but she has a heart. We'll go back to 08. I'll probably get emotional thinking about it. It was a tough night in November.
Don't even talk about it. It was here in Rockwood.
Yes, we're standing on stage, and
And they're playing music. Big
yes,
girls don't cry.
She's crying. She's
They
crying.
did.
She's crying. I'm crying. But do you know the story Becky told that night? It's the most
remember.
amazing thing I've ever heard.
I don't remember.
You're campaigning in Campbell County.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody doesn't have a jacket.
Yeah.
What
That
do
was
you do?
Fentress County.
Yeah. What do you do?
So we were in Fentress County, and I can't even remember all that campaign. I put 53,000 miles on my car.
No, wait, this is your campaign for
Senate.
Senate?
That's- yeah.
6 counties.
Yes.
Ray County to Campbell County. So Ray County to Jellicoe to
Yes.
Jamestown to the other end of Roane County.
Yeah.
I won Rockwood.
Yes. 2 to 1.
Anyway,
2 to 1.
Ken and I are very good friends today. So I put 53,000 miles on my car and worked my job because they watched to make sure I was at work.
Yes.
And but anyway, we were in Fitchers County, and we were there with the disabled folks there that were having meetings at the Senior Citizens Center. And I just got me this very nice Tennessee Titan coat. It's a reversible coat. I love that coat. And this fella, he said, I sure would like to have that coat. And I thought, well, he don't really want that coat. And I said, well, you know, and just blowed it off. And then we had our meeting and all that stuff. And he just kept saying, I really want that coat. So I gave him my coat.
Oh, Becky.
I gave him my coat. But one of my favorite memories was Campbell County up there at Scott Industries. They were all like Michael Dunn is here,
Yes.
and they did the same kind of work Michael Dunn does here. And they asked me to come back, but right before the election, they wanted to give me a surprise. And I just remember it like it was yesterday. It gives me cold chills. I walk in, and they're all singing, "Our God is an awesome God."
Yes.
Just beautiful. These people, they were just.
Yeah.
I mean, they all had challenged lives, and they were just singing like angels.
Oh.
And I got some good memories from that.
Yes.
From that race.
So now we got sidetracked, but he tells you not to take the Rockwood job, and you probably shouldn't tell Becky not to do something because it's tough. So you arrive, and it is. There are hard times at Rockwood. We don't need to
Oh, it was hard.
sugarcoat it.
We didn't have enough money to pay payroll.
And we were we were getting audited at that time.
We had 11 or 12 findings that were
Yes.
repeat findings. We didn't have money to do payroll. We had, and I know this is going to be broadcast worldwide, so I'll have to be careful what I say, but we had to literally depend on Rockwood Electric and Rockwood Waters in lieu of taxes to do payroll. So when it came time to do payroll and we didn't have enough money, I'd call Brillo or one of them. I'd say, can you go ahead and pay us your money this month so we can, I mean, that's how bad it was.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to work all day, take all the bills home in boxes and lay them out on the table, my kitchen table, and would separate them by date and by company and knew which ones had to be paid first. We had an employee that went to a local parts store and they wouldn't sell him a part because we were so far behind. We were 3 months behind with Rockwood Electric on our electric bills. It was a tough time, but we made it. Looks like we made it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And today is we had those repeat findings that year, and then the next year, I think we may have had none. It took us a couple of years to get where we had none because we had to fix so many things. But we've not had an actual finding since I've been here, other than recommendations that they made a couple of times.
Yeah.
Things that we could do to do better. But we've not had a bad finding in 14 years.
And it leads us to Rockwood makes it. It's on solid ground. And there was a while when Rockwood was the only place that was opening new businesses. You know, other places have grown stagnant. And Rockwood's always, Becky's aggressive. Rockwood is aggressive.
There's so much, though, really so much that needs to be done. Our little downtown, I mean, there's so much that needs to be done. And we're getting ready to do a $100,000 downtown improvement grant. We're going to have a meeting here soon,
Yes.
Leanne. And so we're going to do some things with that. But I have so much I could tell you that we don't have enough time for. I'll come back. But there's so many good things on the horizon in this county that the local folks have no idea.
Yes.
All the stuff that's happening on the Oak Ridge corridor.
Yeah.
You say, well, that don't have anything to do with us. Well, it does.
Is there anything you can share?
Well, all the new companies that are coming in, I mean, it's going to change the whole face of this whole entire county.
It is.
We're going to get schools. We're going to get lots of things to come from this.
And I think the last projection was, 7,000 new residents potentially?
I mean, I don't, and you know, you don't, a lot of people, like I said a few minutes ago, don't want growth. Well, there's one thing worse, and that's not being prepared, because it's coming.
Yes.
You can't stop growth. The only way you can stop it is to have a land use plan ahead of time.
Yeah.
You can't do a land use plan after they're done they've already broke ground. You can't say you got to, I mean, it's coming,
Yes.
and we're just not ready, but hopefully we're
Working
getting
on it.
ready, yeah.
So in recent years, there has been more interest in giving the downtown area a facelift or revitalizing. And so with this grant coming, that'll help some businesses. We've got a lot of empty buildings. Can you talk about that? I know they're are they privately owned or?
All the buildings on Rockwood Street that are not open are privately owned, just like this one that we're sitting in. I can't come in here and tell him what he needs to do with his building. It's his. And so a lot of the buildings are just sitting empty with antiques and all the stuff in them. We just got to inspire those people to sell your property, open the doors, get somebody in there to operate it for you, get it back to be. And when I was a kid, we shopped in Rockwood and Harriman. We didn't go to Morgan County. It was closer to come down the mountain. And we would have to circle to
find a
come back
parking
around
spot.
because there was nowhere to park. And I remember that like it was yesterday. I remember coming here when it was flooded. And we'd come down to see, we'd always go to Oakdale River to see it flooded.
Yeah.
Then we'd come to Rockwood so we could see the water in downtown. And we've got to get back, and so much has already been done, just like with Front Street and over to the railroad tracks. But there's so much more that can be done.
And you know, a lot of focus in Rockwood is fixing downtown, but we're in this new era of it's a recreation destination. And I know you were mentioning that. Go ahead, toot your own
let's
horn.
talk about that.
Let's raise that flag and be proud of it.
Yes.
So downtowns aren't what they used to be. JCPenney's is not coming back to Rockwood. There's not, what young people see today, go to Asheville, North Carolina, go to some of these towns. Go to Abington, Virginia, Damascus.
Yeah.
People that will come here to hike Rockwood Forest Trails, people that will come here to see what some of the waterfalls and stuff I showed you all today, they want to come downtown, go to a bicycle shop, get their bicycles fixed, go to Kofer's and get whatever they want to drink, go to Rumors and eat. They want to come to these little towns and hang out
and check out of their real life.
Yes, and it's and
we have so many natural resources around here. We've got the lake, we've got we're developing hiking trails.
We have a golf course.
We have a golf course. We have the Road
are-
State Expo.
Yeah.
There are things that would attract people to come here. We just need to give them
We
someplace
are
to stay
Roane
and
County's
some things.
recreation destination.
Yes.
I mean, there's more here. I mean, just the airport. I could talk about all that's happening at the airport.
Which connects
for
it. So
hours. It's
everything
not-
from Flat Rock to downtown is.
So the airport they're putting in about $15 million private development right now in hangars. So that's people that'll be flying in and out. And then they have created a grass strip landing next to the runway. And so there's a new fad in the world that us in Rockwood don't know about, but it's backcountry flying. And so they own planes. They don't go to the beach and stuff like we do. They fly their planes and they land in the middle of the wilderness and pitch their tent and they camp out for a week.
That sounds like a Leanne Malacote thing. If there
Yeah,
ever
well,
has been.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is really big out west, and you need to have Rockwood Aviation come down here and do this story. So
okay.
it's not real big in the east. So Rockwood Aviation guys have went west, and they're friends with those people in the west, and they're going to make Rockwood the hub of backcountry flying
So
on
we're on
the
the
East
cutting
Coast.
edge of something
Yes,
new.
and all them same people that do that want to come to Rockwood
They want to go to
Forest
different places.
to
yes.
hike. They want to go to the lake and fish. They want to. It all ties together, and I wish I was 20 years younger.
Yeah.
I mean,
So we need some outfitters downtown. We need some little arts, crafts, antique stores, restaurants.
Restaurants that not necessarily, because I hate to see a little restaurant open and it has to close.
I know.
Restaurants that are more catered to events, that's open during events. That's not what they live, that's not what pays their bills. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like a little sandwich shop or...
Yeah. We're on the cutting edge, and you don't give yourself enough credit.
Well, that's not what we do. That's not that.
Okay, well, so we're going to ignore her. I'm going to give her credit.
You toot her horn.
You've earned the right. You showed up when it was hard. You didn't leave when it got right. You know, some people just said, my job is done. I'm looking for something else.
I still say that.
Usually when I come visit her, it's kind of weird. You're still here. You're still pushing harder now than you did the first day you arrived.
It's just what we do. And I mean, I've always lived by the leave it better than you found it. And I told a gentleman one time, well, I won't get into all that, but I said, they were giving me a hard time about working too much and putting too much into everything. Why don't you just chill? And I'm like, the good Lord made us all different.
Yeah.
It takes us all to make the world go around. And we were almost argumentative, and I said, you better be glad he made people like me. Because it makes up for some of those that don't. But really, I live and die by, I think in my sleep about what I could do. But I don't mean that bragging. It's just how the good Lord made me. It's just the way, I can't help it. It's just the way it is.
Listen, and I know that there's plenty of times I've called Becky, hey, I need you to help me. Before I get the question out, the answer is yes.
But what I got to say, too, is like, the city council believed in me. I mean, the mayors, James Watts and Brillo Miller and Jason Jolie, I mean, they don't hinder me on my crazy dreams when I talk about Rockwood Forest or something, the marina or whatever. They don't. Brillo told me one time, if you get another grant, you're fired. So, because we really had so many at once, we had to borrow money. We had to do a capital outlay note to be able to cash flow it. That was still back kind of during the hard times. That's when we did the sidewalks from Gateway to the lake. And people kept saying, why would you do that? Well, it connected the city to the lake, and people use it.
People use it. It's wonderful.
And I love to drive down through there and see them using it. And someday, when we're hiking at Rockwood Forest and we're got these little downtown shops we want and stuff, people will be riding their bikes back and forth from the RV resort up to here.
Oh, I'd love to.
I mean,
I can't wait to see that happen.
This could be a little Damascus on a bigger scale. And with volunteers like Steve Scarborough and Jim Cooley and Tom Carson, that's all they're doing right now. They're living and dying by Rockwood Forest. And we've met with TWRA. We're going to get a easement up at we're going to take it all the way to the fire tower. And someday I'd like, and I may get fired, but I'd like for the city to maintain the fire tower area, the picnic area.
Please.
I mean, Jim's doing all he can to keep it clean now, but people think it's ours. So if they think it's ours, we better take care of it.
And as someone that works for the county, me and Becky have collaborated 100 times on this fire tower.
On cleanups.
And it comes down to the fact that nobody really owns it.
Well, who is responsible for it?
The state.
But the state will only do dirt and gravel. Once anything you see asphalt, they're done with it. So
there's just so much.
So that's a great vision. I love the picture, my mental image that I'm getting of bicycling and the outfitters and things like that. But what do the citizens, as far as getting involved? Two things. Let's talk about how does our local government work, our committees, our city council. How does all that work together? What's their involvement in making these things happen? Because it can't be a one-woman show. You know,
I wanted to get into that. I said the mayor and council have given me support. I got a bunch of good employees. Now everybody will say, well, you got some bad ones. Well, I have a bunch of good ones too. I mean, these people welcomed me in. I wasn't from Rockwood. And that's kind of the thing around here. Are you from Rockwood, you know? But I was not from Rockwood. And I feel as much part of Rockwood as anybody here. And the employees have, Belinda, my finance director, I mean, I could have never done all this stuff had we not hired her. I think we hired her in August after I came here in February. She's an amazing numbers lady. She has to keep me straight. I have to keep her straight. I have to make her take chances. She has to make me slow down. But we make a good team, and it's just the citizen, with Main Street Monday. We started out with 100 people in the council room excited about Main Street Monday. And like at the last Main Street Monday, last 4 or 5, we're down to like 5 people that I finally had to hire my street guys to help us, who helps put up the stage, who empties the garbage, who cleans the bathrooms, who does all the stuff, because everybody wants it, but not a lot of people want to
do what it takes.
Yes. And so it's easy to criticize. And in today's world with social media, it's probably one of the best things and worst things that was ever created is the negativity. And people love the negativity.
Yes.
And if I could get them to work a tenth as hard on some positivity as they do on negativity, this town would be rocking. But you just got to get people, and people are busy. I know people are busy, and everybody's not crazy like me, and I don't expect them to be.
What if somebody just doesn't know how to connect? What would you suggest? Coming to city council meetings might be something.
Yes,
What's
and
another?
so I have people too that'll say, well, I didn't know that was happening. Well, we meet the 4th Monday of every month at 6 o'clock. Come on down. Dudley puts it on BBB. Not everybody has BBB. But
Is it on Facebook also?
No, but it may be at some point.
do.
We're getting a new website, and we're following Roane County, Kingston, Harriman have already redone theirs, and we're doing ours where they all have a similar
Format?
yes, so that we all. When somebody looks at Roane County, because I was at a meeting today and the guy was talking about, they're talking about Roane County in Japan. I mean, all this stuff that's coming here, Roane County's known. A guy calls from New Jersey wanting to know some stuff about Roane County. I mean, we are, because of the nuclear stuff that's happening, we are becoming known all over the world in this little county that we're in.
Yeah.
And people don't realize it. So we need people to be positive. And just come ask. We cannot get people to want to serve on committees. Everybody's busy. They don't want to come. And then they fuss about who you put on them. But they don't want to be on them. So there's all kinds of boards. Every board is appointed. Every board has its own rules. But they're all appointed by the city council. There's a few that's appointed by, that committee can name one of them. For instance, like civil service, they get to pick. The employees pick one of them. City council picks 2. So there's certain rules.
Can you slow down a bit on that? How that's structured? What are committees? What are boards? Can you just name off a few or tell us?
So like by charter, if I remember correctly, the ones that are actually chartered and are what they are is like Rockwood Electric, Rockwood Water, Sewer and Gas, the library board. I think that might be the only 3 that are by statute. I mean, they're a part of our charter. And then the others are like we have the Health and Education Board. It's really an inactive board, except for right now they're kind of in control of what's happening to Victorian Square, and that's another whole story that would take too much time. Park and Recreation Board, the Industrial Board, which they're not really active unless something's going on that they need to do bonds or something, because all of our industry's in Roane County, Rockwood, but it's Roane County. I was trying to think who the other boards are. We started out with the Main Street Committee. I don't know if it's official, but it was a few of us. Let me think of the other boards. I'm looking at the list in my mind.
What board would be the group that, or is it city council and not a board, that would be looking to put a hotel here, for example?
There's not an official board.
Okay, so that's the city council that.
It was something that city council voted to do a feasibility study. We did one in 2014, and we just didn't really have enough going on at that time to get a hotel, and they told us we didn't. You're just not there yet. Well, this last study says you are there.
Okay.
Our biggest problems were not on the interstate. So if you're not in the interstate, if you don't have an exit, you're less likely to get a hotel. But we have hope. This study gave us hope. And so that was, mostly a lot of this stuff's just volunteer. It's not an appointed board like the one I got you to volunteer to be on. It's not an official board, but it's like we had Angel Tree, Angel Light Committee.
Right.
We had a Christmas committee.
And so people wouldn't know about these things if they're not coming to city council or watching Dudley's
And
production
April
of it.
puts a lot of stuff on Facebook, and the city doesn't have a Facebook page, and one reason we don't, and I know other cities do, our insurance has told us, if you have a Facebook page, I don't know if you can have them that nobody can comment. I've never really. You can, but it can become a real negative thing and can draw you down where you're not doing anything but answer negativity.
Yes,
and I just don't have time to answer.
You could do Facebook without
I would
turn
so
off.
love to do all of that for her.
I don't have time.
I would love to do the council meetings.
As someone that is an
Well,
administrator
we'll
for
talk about that.
for a government Facebook page, there are all kinds, and you see the negativity, especially when the weather gets bad.
Yeah.
There are some
I'm even
challenges to that.
On Park and Rec page,
Yeah.
there will be and you can't just turn negative off. You
Well,
want to hear.
I'm just saying maybe there might be a feature where you don't accept comments
Yeah.
altogether.
There's a legality to that.
Is there?
Because they have the right to petition their government. And part of the reason people need to come is we don't have to be on the same page, but we at least need to be reading the same book.
Informed, right.
And
And everybody's, all the ideas are not good. Not everybody sees things the same. It takes us all. And
not good. You don't know us. We've never had a bad idea.
you probably have.
Probably just sitting here.
Had a few bad
Just like this is, for instance, like the night that we had Main Street Monday and our person didn't show up. Dudley just jumped right in there. I called him, and in 5 minutes he was here. He set his stuff up and he took over. That's the kind of people you need. And then Scott and his wife, they did an amazing job for us at Christmas, but it's because they wanted to. And we want you to do it again. But we need people.
Well, sometimes we need some. Yeah. What we want, though, is you're invested in Rockwood. So you are not from here, but just because you're not from here doesn't mean you're not going to. We talk about people choosing Rockwood, the choosing to be here. And I love the people that choose Rockwood. It's flattering to me. Like, oh, you see it, you get it. You are choosing to be here and to invest your energy and time and creativity to make this place even better.
Yeah, and I've had times that I've thought, and I've had opportunities to leave, but I'll never get done.
No.
It's like at Flat Rock, I asked the owner, I said, when will this be done? And he said, it won't ever be done. I'll just keep doing something else. And that's how I feel. I may be like Lane Killian. They say, Becky, honey, you need to go home. You need to retire. But you just don't, if you get done, that's a sad day.
Yeah.
So I won't ever be done.
You remind me so much, man, about Clement O'Brien.
So let me go back to this. You've mentioned Miss Annabelle quite a bit. Can you give me the background, the history, how your relationship with her, when and how that developed?
I think I was working in Morgan County maybe, I don't even know what I was doing. The first time I met her was at Oakdale School, and she come into Oakdale School running for state senate.
Dressed immaculate.
Yeah,
Smelled
and come
wonderful.
through the classrooms talking to everybody. They couldn't vote for her, it was us kids. But I thought, man, she is amazing.
She commanded a room.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
And I didn't follow her direction today, and I should have. She said, if you're ever going to have to talk and you're just not really prepared, because I've done a lot today, wear red. You wear red. Always when you walk in a room and you want to take that room over, you wear red. And I didn't wear red today. But anyway. So I wore red down here one day when Brillo was mayor, and he said, this is not Oakdale. This is Rockwood. And so I went to Rockwood Electric one day, and he had on a red shirt. And I said, this is not Oakdale, this is Rockwood.
You know, and you've never lived until you've campaigned with Annabelle Clement O'Brien.
Yeah, so I did.
Okay, so you were a student.
I handed out cards for her at the election.
Been there too.
And just got to know her. And we just became really good friends. I was at her house numerous times. We visited Ned Ray McWhorter's, the mansion when he was governor.
Ned Ray.
I went on a trip with her and the judge one time, and we were just really good friends. And she never gave me bad advice. Mm-hmm. She was there before the line was drawn in the sand of red and blue. She didn't care what party you was from, and her and Jim Henry were inseparable. They were best friends. They worked together to do what
was right.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
There
was no aisle. They were there for a purpose, and that's where I learned what I learned.
Mm-hmm. She was truly the first lady of Tennessee politics.
She was. We helped write her book.
Yes.
And helped get her book printed.
Yes.
Yes.
I have that book. I think it's autographed by Annabelle because it's Annabelle Clement O'Brien.
But it was back the way it was supposed to be.
It was, and you know, it's funny that when I was young, I campaigned with Annabelle. Parents just put me in a car with her. Hey, you're with Annabelle. Go on. Everywhere we'd stop, she'd put on new shoes and spray herself with perfume. Every stop.
She would make me walk with her and say, if I don't know somebody's name and you know them, you tell me who they are. Because she'd say, Leanne, it's so good to see you. Yeah. And if she couldn't remember, she wanted, that's Leanne.
Yeah.
And she meant it.
There was nobody like her. She always said that women will vote for you if they like your shoes, and men will vote for you if you smell good. And
she took care of those two things.
She went into a bar in Scott County, she said, and said they was all just shooting pool. And she said, I just stood there, and they was just shooting pool, and she just waited. I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm running for state senate, and I need your vote. So it didn't matter to her where she went.
And you know, she mentored so many people, from you to you go back to John Mark Wendell and Dennis Ferguson first getting elected. She took care of them. She picked them up and drove them to Nashville to make sure they had their feet, because they were state representatives within her district.
Mm. So I just wonder, you know, had Paul Scarborough not called to me and said, I need you to run for school board, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today. I would have never went to a city council meeting. I was a country girl, married in the country, worked on the farm, worked in the shirt factory. I would have never, ever got involved. Wow. And that was probably it. I mean, had he not called me, I'd have never run for school board ever. And then I'd have never went to work in government.
It's changed the whole direction of your life.
So you never know. One thing you could say to a young person, how you might change their life. That's why I get so excited when we do Kids Cafe, all those children at Rockwood Housing.
Yes.
Just one thing you could say to one of those kids to give them a light. Maybe the light gets flipped on. Only light drives out darkness. It's the only thing that drives out darkness is the light. And I try to be that light here every day.
You do? You do a good job.
You do.
So.
But you've mentioned in passing, we've talked about Annabelle, but I would be remiss to not have a conversation with you where you don't get the chance to truly talk about Paul and Vera Scarborough. You know, I've been to their house for fundraisers, spent a New Year's Eve there one night. The things Paul faced, you know what I'm talking about. We won't go into detail.
Oh, I watched it.
Yeah, people can look it up if they want to. Light drives out darkness. That lit a fire with you and Vera that I'm not sure Morgan County's ever recovered from, and they shouldn't. But what does Paul and Vera, and seeing what he went through, never should have, just being a supportive person for somebody?
Just going back, my dad was crippled from the war, had a leg that didn't bend, and he worked his whole life and preached till he got where he just couldn't anymore. But Paul was so much like him, so much pain. There was never a day my dad didn't leave in pain.
Yeah.
He said the only time he wasn't in pain was when he was in the pulpit
Yeah.
in his whole life. And Paul had that accident when he was 18 years old, wrecked and landed on the railroad tracks and was paralyzed for the rest of his life in a wheelchair. And he went to college. He became a school teacher. He went all the way, got his master's, was director of schools.
Amen.
I watched him. He drove a little truck before they got any handicap accessible vans or whatever. He would pull that truck in, and he was so strong that he would reach in the back of his truck, pick his wheelchair up with one arm, lift it out, set it on the ground, and get in it and go in and work 10 and 12 hours at that school.
Yes.
And that's how Paul and my dad and their courage and their will is why I'm sitting here today.
Yes.
I mean,
Inspiration.
yes. I mean, if he could do that, why can't I do what I do?
Yes.
You know? And he did it all the way till
Yeah.
he's telling me what to do when he passed away.
He
2 hours before.
When I started working at the highway department and Dennis got elected, I could promise you I was going to phone call once a week from Paul Scarborough with some suggestions
On what you needed to do.
and what I needed to do. And I looked forward to those phone calls. I wouldn't tell him that I was excited when he called, because you know how he gets. If you'd say,
Litter was a real issue. He wanted
Yes.
that road picked up from Harriman to Oakdale.
and we worked hard, because if Paul Scarborough said it,
So
the
you just
answer
never
was
know.
yes.
Yeah.
You just
that's
never
good.
know. And I know, Leanne, that you have lots of influence on students here in Rockwood still today. And you too, Brian, when you're not misbehaving.
I'm the calmest person here.
When he's not misbehaving.
Yeah. But you just never know one person that you might change their life.
That's right. You know, I live by a motto that I've seen so many kids play sports at different schools. I don't say no. I probably should, because there's a lot of times that you all really know this. They don't have a parent there. They don't have a sibling there. That if a kid asks you to do something, the answer is yes. And it's part of that is my mother. It's been around people like you and Leanne and Annabelle and all these people that sometimes the answer is yes, even when you don't want it to be.
But
'Cause it's
none of
bigger than
us
you.
do anything. I mean, I don't want no sole credit for nothing. None of us do anything alone. We're all in the
Yes.
same boat. Some of us might work harder than others or something, but none of us do something by ourselves.
And then there's ones like me, I'm just quieter and shyer than you two, so
Oh my, yes. Quiet and shy.
I am.
I used to have to write in Vera's class and others. My mouth is like a babbling brook, and it goes on and on and on. And you had to write on and on and on until they told you to quit, like 30 minutes later.
For some reason,
So I'm still doing that today.
you and Lynn seem to have wrote the same stuff.
Lynn.
As shocking as that is.
My mouth is like, yeah.
Well, we've talked about a lot. Becky, I'm going to turn this over to you. We've talked a lot about the future, what you want to happen. Where do you honestly see Rockwood going? If you're the captain of the ship, you're steering it. What do you see as the big picture of Rockwood? We've talked about a lot of little stuff. What do you see as the big picture?
I think all the things happening around us is going to drive that. So it's going to change automatically. I think the schools are going to change. I think today's generation is not the Brian Matthews generation that here's Rockwood and here's Harriman and here's Kingston.
Yeah.
Right.
We're just going to keep becoming one. And it's either by choice or not by choice. It's going to happen because that's just the way the world is. And that's good. We all need to be one. But I see the whole county growing. I see Kingston becoming a lot more of the nuclear thing, and Harriman, their downtown's wonderful, and they have the riverfront park and all that. So they have their niche, and then they have Midtown. But Rockwood is going to be a recreation destination.
Yes.
And when we did those signs back when Brillo was still here, he kept saying, we're going to vote on this, and we're going to vote. And I'm like, let's don't get down in the weeds of arguing about a sign.
Yes.
And so we got it, the star and the, the little RV and the lake and the mountains and the water. No other city in this in this county has all those things. We have it all. And so I work very well with the other cities. I work well with the county. But we have so much more to offer. We all have our niche, and ours is recreation. And I'll say the same thing I said in Morgan County. We used to spend countless dollars and hours trying to bring an industry in there with no interstates, with no nothing. It's not going to happen. You're wasting your time. So let's use what God gave us. That the frozen head and the opie and all that at Brushy, all that stuff in Morgan County. Same thing here, the mountain, the lake, the forest, the airport, all the stuff we have. Let's concentrate on what we have and add to it.
Yes.
So it's coming. There's a lot that's going to happen with this Walton Road, the John Wilder story, this land that we're looking at, the connection to the Star from the city, hiking all the way up there. We're doing a trail grant right now to expand the trails. There's just a lot.
So we were talking about people being invested and caring about Rockwood. I love the vision. I have for a long, long, long time felt like Rockwood should be a recreation destination. But you've got people like Steve Scarborough's not a Rockwood person, Tom Carson's not a Rockwood person, but they are really giving their
Every waking hour.
heart and energy into that trail, which is going to be so great for
And you
Rockwood.
can check it out on a previous podcast that we've done.
And we did a podcast, the Arbutus, the town of Arbutus, I think is
with the
what we
The
school.
kids are
titled
getting
it.
involved. Next Friday, the first day of spring, Channel 10 will be here at the complex. The students are going to be our guides, and we're going to talk about the ghost town and Arbutus and all that on Channel 10 Live About
I
Town.
love it. I love it.
And then we hope to get Todd Howell to come here later and do the weather from the fire tower or somewhere one evening.
Oh, that would be good.
Like when spring weather starts getting bad and stuff like that, get him to come here. And then Flat Rock, when
It's
they
going
get,
to explode.
it's going to explode, and those people are going to want to come to Rockwood.
Yes. And
and
I
spend
love it. I
money.
honestly
we're
love it that we're not on the interstate, that you have to be intentional to come here, and that does make us a destination, and that's our role in this county. I think we are the perfect little town.
We are, and it's going to get better.
It always gets better.
And we need volunteers, and we need people that care. We need people with pride.
And if people want to volunteer, then you
Come see me.
see Becky.
Come
they
see
need to
me.
come to city council meetings. I don't do that like I should, but I will.
We already have enough lined up on the negative train. I need some to come get on the positive train.
Yeah.
We have plenty to do.
There's stuff to do for all ages. I mean, my mom's 93 and she still does her part.
She does.
And so the high school kids are doing their part.
We need all these folks in the
It's
middle.
Everybody. We need
Yes.
everybody.
We're opening our center back up Monday.
Oh, good.
We closed the pool in, which is a very sad day, but we are applying for the pool grant again in March, at the end of this month, for a pool at the complex. If we don't get it, we may not be able to try again, but we're trying.
Yeah, we need a pool.
We do.
We've talked. If you listen to the podcast, you know that we have talked about pools.
A lot of the
A few
schools, a lot of the cities and counties that are building, building new schools, they're putting pools in them for exercise and that kind of thing. So maybe if we are unable to, maybe if we get new schools, some of them will have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Did you use the pools for exercise? Never mind. I don't want to know.
I
wanna
did. I
know.
swear. I didn't all. Yes, I did.
Well, she can't even get that question.
Yes. Yes, I
mm.
swim. And then we even have a swim team. I mean, we have
50.
and they have to
53.
go to
Kingston.
I know somebody that went to Kingston too.
I said I lived on the dark side for a while. But no, we can't be that way. We're
No,
county.
we can't.
We're county. This generation needs to get a new mindset.
We still have that issue of city lines. We really do.
We do. We
So,
do.
I'm gonna say
We gotta-
no.
we
I'm
gotta-
gonna say no comment
We
on
got to
that,
erase
Yolo.
them. We
Since
got to
we're-
erase them. We keep them, but we erase them.
Since we're gonna
We
edit
keep
that
our
out.
identity, keep who we are, but we all do our thing.
We've got to be one big tribe. one big family somehow.
We still don't have to cross the bridge.
But yeah.
You're the problem.
I'd rather be the problem than cave to a certain
You're
group.
erasing that,
Well,
Scott.
Yes, ma'am.
I love tradition, though. You know,
can have both.
and
You
it's
can
just
have both.
finding that balance of,
You can have
maintaining the tradition. We have a question that we ask all of our guests, but we're not going to ask you because
You want us to ask you? We'll ask her.
we'll ask her
Okay.
the
we'll do
question.
it.
So I don't want you to not be included.
That's right. Becky Ruppe, we're going to put you on the spot. The queen of Morgan County with the polyester curtains and the redwood deck, to quote Sammy Kershaw, but that's beside the point. You come to Rockwood. Now, you didn't just come to Rockwood in the last 14 years. You mentioned earlier that you used to visit. You're well aware that you're supposed to wear green on Fridays.
Mm-hmm.
We're proud to be from Rockwood.
She don't
It-
have one, okay.
And
Go
your
ahead.
in your all your time of searching and researching in Rockwood, because I know you have, to do the stuff you do. Do you know why the high school mascot's a tiger?
Do I know that it is?
No, do you know why?
This again,
We-
I always say this is not a quiz.
No.
We are seeking, we're searching, trying to find the
Yeah,
answer.
nobody knows the
No,
answer.
I do not know.
We don't either.
If Becky Ruppe doesn't know it, we're in trouble.
Well, if you don't know, we're in trouble.
I know he's the encyclopedia of
You're
Rockwood
the Rockwood
athletics.
Tiger yourself.
Well, I'm trying to be one, so I
Do
don't.
you
wanna,
not
I don't wanna
really? You
focus
honestly
on,
don't know?
We
do
have
not
no
know.
clue. Even Miss Wallach didn't know.
We asked Miss Wallach. We thought she would know, and of course Brillo doesn't know either.
You kidding me?
we don't know
Mark
why.
Clem doesn't know, so
I'm
Now
shocked.
we have had a color
Ask
change.
Tom Carson.
He
It's
didn't-
probably
we
started
did.
in the
I did.
forest.
I
we
asked
did.
him.
He didn't know.
He didn't know.
But he's a digger and a
He'll find
researcher.
it.
I
He'll
might
fi-
pose the question to him again and see if he
He'll
can
find it.
figure it out.
Becky, I want to thank you for coming. It means a lot when you show up for stuff, because you make things happen. Let's just say it like it is. I know you don't want to take credit for it, but continue with us on this journey. We've got Becky on this journey with us as we continue to tell the story of Rockwood, the story of us.